Family, we are back. Y'all know what to do. If you enjoy your time here, hit that thumbs up button. If you love it here, unsub, resub, hit notification bell, all. And yeah, let's get to it. On the drawing board today, we have Loista, and he has a very interesting title to me: The Disturbing Truth Behind Jay-Z and Beyonce. Y'all know that's what we specialize in. I'm not saying one thing is the other or the other thing is another, but it's interesting to see what we can take from these situations or just to hear other people's input and then just talk about it. Wink, wink. Anyway, let's get to it. Shout out to Loista, and this is the disturbing truth behind Beyonce and Jay-Z. Let's get it.
That range from the rap world is undergoing a reckoning at the moment, as everyone is looking at the dark secrets that are spilling out. With the news that Diddy might be going away for life, people are now questioning who else might be in line to have their private lives exposed, with the terrible things that they've done to others coming to light and potentially ruining their reputation. And at the moment, it's not just one individual under scrutiny, but it's rap's real power couple who are being placed under the microscope, as they are now facing accusations that range from behind the scenes political manipulation.
Real quick, I don't mean to be petty, but
as they are now facing
even dudes' AI pics are different.
Power couple who are being placed under the microscope.
Come on, bro. And Beyonce looking more, I'm going to keep that to myself. But the whole witch thing that people talk about, I can see it.
As they are now facing accusations that range from behind-the-scenes political manipulation to even murder. It's your boy Loista, and this is the disturbing alleged double life of Jay-Z and Beyonce. During a recent interview with Piers Morgan, R&B singer and conspiracy theorist Jaguar Wright made several allegations. Although she had been brought on the show to discuss the diddler and how she had been calling him out for years, she went majorly off script and started talking about Hove and the former Destiny's Child singer turned megastar.
Why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters, and the victim-making machine kept going.
What's so crazy, y'all? She went to Puffy parties and she walked people away. Wow.
When Piers pointed out that Hove hadn't responded to all the rumors going around about their friendship after Diddy's arrest, Wright claimed that Jay's underhanded tactics and sneaky ways of avoiding direct involvement have allowed him to stay on top in the industry.
That's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond.
Rather than say he was just an accomplice to evil, she said that in reality, Jay was the connective tissue between many of the big names who have been involved in horrific acts.
Oh,
Harvey
wow.
Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein. Not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things. Keeping people against their will, putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got.
Called uncensored, like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre. There are legal limits on us too. We apologise to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
After it was pulled from air and Morgan had this tail between his legs, their lawyer Alex Spiro labeled the claim as clearly false. There's rumors and then there's nonsense. And this is one step further, he told TMZ. This is a pointed and formal accusation of something. I felt it needed to be responded to. I think somebody reported it was a cease and desist. It wasn't that. It was quite bluntly an ultimatum, which is to remove that false accusation that's demonstrably false, or a court is going to order you.
What do y'all think about that? There's rumors and then there's nonsense. And this is one step further. He told TMZ, this is a pointed and formal accusation of something. I felt it needed to be responded to. Even his wording, the verbiage of that statement is as if he took the initiative to address the matter without being informed by Jay-Z and Beyonce. And that's what Jay-Z is a master of, perception. But all of these people are, even Jaguar.
So I think he made the wise choice and acted accordingly. Some people agreed with their legal team that you couldn't just make claims like this without any consequences. But there were some who felt that this made Jay-Z and Beyonce look way more guilty than they would otherwise, and maybe the damage had been done. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It's too late to edit it out. The internet lives forever. And I mean, they're right. Once you put something onto social media, it takes on. Maybe the damage had been done. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It's too late to edit it out. The internet lives forever. And I mean, they're right. Once you put something onto social media, it takes on a new life of its own. And these days, there's a lot of people who are wondering now if Jay-Z and Beyonce weren't just in cahoots with Puff, but were just as bad as the diddler himself. Because even after the threats of legal
Beyonce in the middle, boy. What I tell y'all about that? Beyonce is always in the middle. And look at how weird this picture is, y'all. Come on, man. That picture. Her arms around Puff. Puff arms around Jay, but his hands around her waist. Was she shared?
Boots with Puff, but were just as bad as the diddler himself. Because even after the threats of legal action from Jay and Bay's legal team, Jaguar continued to argue that if Diddy was brought to justice, they would be too.
That's always been my focus. They're one and the same. Tell me something. When you have a peanut butter jelly sandwich, if it's just peanut butter, it's just peanut butter. If it's just jelly, it's jelly. When you put it together, it becomes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the taste is undeniable.
You're saying Diddy and Jay-Z is peanut
butter and jelly. Let's deal with the sandwich.
As opposed to jumping on the bandwagon, it should be noted that this is definitely the first time that she leveled these claims at Hove and Co. Instead, Jaguar, who sang backing vocals on Jay-Z's Unplugged album, has been claiming that Hove abused her and others for years.
Carter is just as bad as the diddler, and I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it. I know what a box cutter.
All right, so at this point, she should have lawyers. She should take some of that interview money and invest in a nice lawyer and take this man to court because he harmed her mentally and physically. And Jag's a warrior. She speaks on it, and everything she says is the truth. So it's time for her to go get a lawsuit because she's living proof, and she had proof, and she has the scars to prove. I wonder why she hasn't went and got a lawsuit, y'all. I mean, she's on point about everything. But when it comes to herself, I just don't understand it. She could have a Cassie bag.
How it feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen shit. That Cassie shit, that's nothing.
Are you trying to say like Jay-Z put hands on you?
I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. It's gonna be the women that get him in the end.
Of course, there are some people who would discredit Jaguar Wright. Throughout the years, she has shown signs of instability, such as throwing her son's ashes at people.
See, this right here, it was just a skit. I don't know why people like to take this moment and act like this is really her. It was just a skit. It was a skit. And what's so crazy is like people really just, I don't know. And that really wasn't even her. It was a double. It was a clone. Matter of fact, that moment didn't even happen. It was a hologram. It's AI.
On skin.
Oh my days.
And that wasn't, it wasn't ashes. It was barber powder. She just got a line up and she was applying it how they like that chalk stuff people be. Yeah.
They're all dead.
Orlando asked her about that. She never answered. At least so we all could hear. But she's going to tell her story when she wants to tell her story because she's who it happened to. And I mean, how do you expect her to tell her story as if she's telling everybody else's story? She's going to tell her story when she wants to. Now, if she was telling everybody else's story and wasn't telling her own story, okay, it might be a problem, but she's not doing that.
Ultimately, only one voice in the crowd of people who have suggested that there's something seriously warped going on behind the scenes in Hove's life, right down to fellow 90s hip-hop artists like Lord Jamar. According to him, Hove's indiscretions were a lot better disguised than Diddy's, but the fact that he started dating Beyonce after meeting her when she was just 17 years old, as well as rumors that he got with Foxy Brown when the rap airily common when it comes to these high-powered celebrities, and Jay is just one of many people that he had heard some dark things about.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, when certain people get to a certain level of fame, I don't know why, but you start to hear little about certain people sometimes. If you really think about most of your top celebrities, black celebrities, rappers, I feel like I've heard a rumor damn near about all of them. It could be. Or it could be that motherfuckers got to join a club in order to get to a certain level. Everybody that goes past a certain point, you'll hear a little, have I heard a little shit about Jay-Z? Yup.
The whole Foxy Brown situation is one that's had people concerned for a
Listen, here's the deal.
But when it comes to Jay's questionable behavior around young and had to be an open after Puffy's arrest.
And then Diddy, that whole empire crumbling got a lot of y'all scared because your favorite rapper was sleeping with a 15-year-old. But listen, here's the deal.
But when it comes to Jay's questionable behavior around young women, it doesn't end with those he tries to court. Sometimes he's threatening teenagers just to get their signature on a contract. During an appearance on Tyra Banks' show way back in the day, a 17-year-old Rihanna let it slip that Jay had been a little forceful in convincing her to sign to Def Jam back when he was still at the helm of the label.
Plays that there are 2 ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal signed or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor. So he was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I'm signing. Yeah.
This may have seemed like a lighthearted anecdote from Riri at the time.
Wow. 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 Wow.
But considering everything we now know about how the top figures in hip-hop operate, it lands a little differently. Particularly when you hear some of the stories about how Jay and Bey have allegedly moved through both the industry and their own secretive lives. The name Cathy White might not necessarily mean anything to you, but for those who are familiar with the dirt surrounding the Carters, she's one of the most interesting individuals in the whole situation. It was alleged that back in the day, Cathy and Jay-Z were engaged in an affair. Eventually, the press got wind of it and tried to follow up. But then, something horrible happened before the truth could come out. The story was published by Hollywood Street King in an article titled Busted, Jay-Z Caught Cheating on Beyonce with Cathy White in August of 2010. I managed to get a hold of Cathy at her job in New York over the phone. I then uncovered photos of Cathy hanging out with Jay-Z and Diddy at Tao nightclub in Las Vegas. Trap Lord Ross, who hinted that there might be more beneath the surface, and I asked her if she knew why Cathy had been MIA. Her colleague shockingly told me she's dead. This story has gained plenty of attention over the years, even becoming the focus of a...
We're about to get into that video, y'all. That's going to be my next upload. And Trap Lord Ross did it, bro. Is so credible. Like, he does the digging. I can't even say he does the digging. It's just like, it's really light research because everything's in the forefront, but he just puts the effort into putting it together, and how he compiles it. It's on point.
Full video by Trap Lord Ross, who hinted that there might be more beneath the surface than we initially thought. But her friend and colleague, Claudia Jordan, has pushed back and has since tried to dent the story. Still, it continues to grow arms and legs, with people even theorizing that Ye hinted towards the situation between White and Jay-Z on the infamous track Blood on the Leaves when he said, he only want to see that ass in reverse, $2,000 bag with no cash in your purse. Now you sit in courtside, wifey on the other side, gotta keep them separated. I call that apartheid. Then she says she's pregnant, that's the night your heart died. Now you gotta go to your girl and report that. Main reason, because your pastor said he can't afford that. Obviously, Ye and Kanye have a complex relationship that could be deserving of its own video one day. But it wouldn't exactly be the first.
Call me, man. We ain't gonna get into that because that's a whole funny thing. It's like funny with the I don't know. I think it's like a weird copyright. We got Dame on here. Let's see what Dame's talking about.
Time I saw her, she looked different. So she had different looks every time. And I was like, who the fuck is that?
According to Dame, this was something that stayed with Jay long after his former friend and label co-owner hooked up with her and was the cause of some friction between them.
Everybody knows that shit. Like, we were both.
I heard it, but I didn't.
Yeah, well, they be trying to act like he was like really fucking with her. He was sending flowers and doing all this shit that nigga, he was courting her. So we were both going hard. And we ended up in the same house for 4th of July. So for some reason, this day.
Wait a minute, you, Jay, and Aaliyah. With the YouTube music.
Oh, listen, y'all. I'm gonna leave it alone about the courting. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Like one day it might lean toward him, then lean toward me. But I was just on fire that week. Like I was just everything I was saying was funny. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and I remember coming downstairs, like, you know, it happened. He was like, you know, this is gonna be hard for me. Because he was throwing, because like, you know, his friends were laughing at him.
Echoed by Nas, who seemed to have suggested something similar at the height of his beef with Jay-Z.
You can't tell me Jody Smith, freshman year girl, come in the studio and show R. Kelly's rap. And Beyonce's solo career was struggling. Damn on your horn now, that fucking bullshit ass record. From the Austin Powers shit was some of the worst shit out. They were having a hard time taking her solo, and then Aaliyah died.
While Dame has never explicitly said that Hov was the man involved, he has basically said that it's now up to his former friend and others to make it clear that there's no foul play.
I know that there are people that benefited from her death, but for me, when I hear these conspiracies, I'm like, how can they be that powerful that they could get a plane or someone to crash a plane? Like, told them I wanted to go to a show with my daughter, and they accommodated me to the fullest. People were really surprised to see me there, took pictures with everybody. And again, that means my brother, so I would hate to think that he was fucking around like that.
To $1 billion. Generally, you don't get that rich without getting your hands a little dirty. So
You clearly are the artist of our lives.
Hey, artist of my life is Beyonce, and this album for me. Appreciate that. All us artists here, we fucking adore you. You are our light, and I love you. I always have, and I always will.
Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
for Ye fans, this whole scenario has been a real layup, as it means that people are posting positive comments about him for a change. But even if there's nothing to really substantiate that theory, it doesn't change the fact that she has lost 4 million followers since March 2024. If you're keeping tabs, that's around the same time that things started to get wild with Diddy's case. And just as Jaguar Wright has been going at Hov,
but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
Years ago, where she tries to explain why she disappeared from the music industry for 7 years after shading Beyonce on the track.
I had a choice. It was do this or this will happen. And
she was way hotter than Beyonce too. Listen, y'all, this was an interesting video. my final take on it. I think they were doing certain things to manipulate careers of others. I'm not gonna say whether if it was a downfall or whatever, but I feel like they had hands in certain things. I think they're just waiting for another moment to the point where they might need a nice little distraction. But I feel like Jay-Z really bit the hand that fed him when he won at the Grammys. That statement or addressing or whatever you want to call it was way deeper than we think. And the people that it won that are quote unquote way higher than we know, as far as in their world, and you know how they have those elites and all that stuff allegedly. But I feel his time's coming, and I feel that's when he sealed his fate. I don't even think his wife liked that. You saw how uncomfortable his daughter was. Anyway, this dude has some stuff that he's gonna have to deal with soon, in my opinion, allegedly. And I feel like he's putting the footwork in to really try to get ahead of it. I really do. Shout out to Jason Lee. Anyway, I'm out. Peace. Oh yeah, shout out to Louisa too. I'm out.